Hello everyone, welcome once again to Scorpion Cigar Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing tequila. What? Tequila? You don't review tequila? Sure I do. I really enjoy tequila. And I'm going to be enjoying 3 different tequilas with a cigar, because that's what I do. The cigar I will be smoking is the Camacho Ecuador. And this is the Gordo size. I picked this up at Milan Tobacconists. There you go, guys. There's a plug for you, Milan. $8.95 before tax and tag. And I picked this cigar specifically because I asked David, the purveyor of Milan Tobacconists in Roanoke, Virginia, what would go really well with tequila. And he said, oh yeah, the Camacho Ecuador. It's, the spice in it will complement the spice and creaminess of the tequila, and on and on and so on and so on. I'm not going to get into all the details there, but so here we are. Now, I've already poured my first dram. And all 3 samplings are Casamigos tequila, which is George Clooney's brand, I'm told. The first one will be the Blanco, and then I also have a Raspado and an Añejo. I'll start with the Blanco. Now, I have had the Blanco before, a couple weeks ago, and decided I was going to give it another try. It's not that it wasn't to my liking, I just thought that I had found it to be a little raw and unrefined, maybe. But this is a Blanco. So, let's get toasted up. I poured this dram, I don't know, 10 minutes ago or something maybe. And these are, all 3 of these samplings are 100% agave. All 3 are at 40% ABV. And all 3 are the Casamigos. Alright, so after about 10 minutes in the glass, I guess it's been, some subtle, yeah, I'm definitely picking up a subtle hint of the, like a buttercream frosting. Definitely some spices in there. The alcohol is very prominent on the nose. There's a very the alcohol scent is, if you ever nosed isopropyl alcohol, there's a scent to it. It's a very distinct scent, different from other forms of alcohol. But I'm getting a little bit of that in this, which is odd because it's not isopropyl alcohol. But anyway. Once again, on the palate, that alcohol note is very prominent. Kind of overpowering everything. See, now for me, a good sipping tequila should be full of flavor. It's not just about the alcohol, it's about the flavors that are there. The vanillas, cinnamons, some other spices, very creamy notes, sometimes a little bit of citrus in there. I'm not getting that from this Blanco. In fact, that buttercream frosting note is almost completely gone at this point. A little bit of a vegetable character in there. To me, this is a mixer, not a separate. Alright, I'm going to continue this dram. Maybe add a little bit of water to it, and I'll be back. See you in a bit. So, I've added a few drops of water, and it's kind of freshened it up a bit. That alcohol nose isn't so prominent. A little of the buttercream frosting character has come back. A little bit of the spice. Definitely much improved mouthfeel. A little creamier. Hints of vanilla. And a good spice on the rear of the palate. Now, an ice cube would probably serve this well. It's pretty warm up here in the Scorpion Cigar Lounge today. Not unbearable, but it's warm. Might be nice to have this stuff chilled. It hasn't been chilled. It's been sitting at room temperature, as is the water. But anyway, I'll continue smoking this dram. Smoking this dram. I'm an idiot! I'll be back in a little bit with the Rosado. So now I have the Reposado of the Casamigos tequila. Has a right off the bat, I poured this once again maybe 10 minutes ago, and there's a sweetness on the nose. It's not quite like a buttercream frosting like I got from the Blanco, but definitely very sweet and rich smelling. Maybe slightly caramelly and vanilla-y. And once again, there is a very strong alcohol scent. Reminds me of a like a caramel chew. I forget what they're called. They kind of look like a Tootsie Roll, but they come in different flavors, but they're the shape of a Tootsie Roll. And the basic flavor is caramel, but you can get it in different flavors. Very good. I'm going to add a slight addition of water, just a few drops. Rinse my mouth. Let that sit for just a moment. Finding that the cigar is either going better with the Reposado than it did with the Blanco, or it's just because I'm about an inch in and the cigar is starting to mellow out a little better. The addition of water almost killed this. I can definitely still smell the alcohol, however that sweetness is gone. Well, not gone, it's just really subdued. On the palate, the sweetness is subdued as well. It's not as harsh and unrefined and unbalanced as the Blanco. It's definitely an improvement. Not quite sure if this is a sipper or a mixer. I'm having issues with the touchpad and the cursor on my new laptop. Turned it on today and it just, touchpad didn't work and then my cursor disappeared. Touchscreen works just fine, but the pad doesn't. So I'm trying to figure out how to get it to go, and I've typed some stuff in a search and it started playing this video, so I'll be back in a minute. I solved my laptop issue. Not sure why my touchpad had disabled itself, but it did. Pointer's back, cursor's back, and touchpad's working again. So we can get back on with this review. Now, my tequila's been sitting in the glass for an additional 10 minutes or so, maybe 15 at the most. And that sweetness is back. Very caramely, vanilla, some cinnamon spice in there, a little brown sugar. Subtle caramel note on the palate, a little bit of spice. Reposado could definitely be a sipper. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Some time in the glass really helped. Going relatively well with the cigar. I'm going to pour myself a dram of the Añejo, and I'll be back. See you in a bit. So I poured a dram of the Añejo. Then once again, maybe about 10 minutes. I'm not picking up any, I don't want to say I'm not picking up any. I'm not picking up much sweetness. It's really masked by the alcohol content. Subtle bit of sweetness there. A brown sugar sweetness. A little bit of sweetness there. There's a vegetal character to the palate. Goes nicely with the cigar. I've been sampling this for several minutes here. I'm going to add a little bit more to it, and then I'll add some water. There we go, that's a better dram. Alright. Yeah, just a touch of water. Alright, the water has toned down the alcohol note on the nose, letting some of the sweetness come through. Not as sweet as the Reposado. These three tequilas, while similar, are worlds apart. I'm not getting any buttercream frosting on the nose of this añejo, but there's a little bit of sweetness. There's almost a cola note. And when I say cola, maybe almost a root beer note. It's kind of, it's hard to explain. It's not really cola. It's not really root beer. It's got some similar spices in there. It reminds me of almost of a Dr. Pepper. The spices. It doesn't taste like Dr. Pepper. I'm not confusing this with popping open a can of Dr. Pepper and drinking it. No, by no means. But the spices that you pick up in a root beer or a Dr. Pepper, they're there. They're subtle, they're smooth, slightly creamy, yet it has a cola aftertaste. It comes through quickly. Interesting. It would do you no good really to mix this with a cola, because then you wouldn't pick up any of the cola or Dr. Pepper or root beer type spices that are in there. They would all be masked by the cola. So if all you want to do is get your drunk on a drink Coca-Cola tequila, hey, great, good for you. But if you're trying to pick up the nuances of the tequila, mixing it would totally wash all that out. The añejo is going really well with the Camacho Ecuador cigar. It's interesting. All three of these samples I'm finding to be similar, yet worlds different. I'm going to continue this dram and continue smoking the cigar, and I'll come back in a few minutes with my final thoughts and impressions on all three. And, well, I don't really do scores for... I don't have a scoring platform for tequila. I do for cigars, and sometimes I can translate that over to bourbons and scotches, because that's what I typically drink. But I love me some tequila, I tell you. Let's see what I can come up with. See you in a bit. So with my computer issues solved, I've sampled 3 different tequilas, all from Casamigos, the Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo, smoking a Camacho Ecuador Gordo, a score. For smoothness and overall balance, the Reposado, for me, is the best of the three samplings. I really enjoy the buttercream frosting nose and palate character of the Blanco. For me, that's what a tequila should be. The Añejo had a darker, spicier quality to it. A little bit of sweetness. Had maybe a really dark brown sugar nose, but it was very subtle. Reposado had was definitely the for overall of the three, probably my favorite, for smoothness anyway. For flavor profile, it was really interesting that the Añejo had spices that were reminiscent of a cola and like a Dr. Pepper, or even a hint of root beer. It was a different kind of spice. Not straight ginger, but root beer has a lot of ginger to it. The Blanco, I would probably give, honestly, all three I'd probably give 88 out of 100 points, based on a similar score that I do for my cigars. All three were very different in nosing and in flavor profile on the palate. For smoothness, overall balance, yeah, the Reposado would probably be the better of the three for me. For the quintessential tequila note, the winner would be the Blanco. For the interesting flavor profile with the spices, would go to the Añejo. So, yeah, I mean, they're worlds apart, yet they all score the same for me in different categories. You have to approach each one in a different way. If you were to drink the Añejo and look for the quintessential tequila flavors, you're not going to get it, and then you would think, oh, this isn't the tequila that I'm thinking of. This isn't at all what I want. Same thing for the Reposado. However, if you're looking for an overall balance that you get with your Reposado as compared to the Blanco and the Añejo, those two didn't give you a good balance. So yeah, it's really tough to score the three separately, side by side, because they all ticked all the right boxes on a different plane, or on a different playing field. So this is a good tequila. I feel that the Blanco would probably serve better as a mixer, just because it's a little rough, raw, unrefined. As you move up to the Reposado and the Añejo, they're smoother and more refined, but each one brings less and less quintessential tequila quality to it. As far as a sipper would go. But they become smoother as you progress from the Blanco to the Reposado to the Añejo. Although the Añejo isn't smoother than the Reposado, but it's just it's really hard to take the three of them and compare them apples to apples, because you can't. You have an apple, you have an orange, and you have a kiwi. Very different fruits, and very different tequilas. I didn't get any apple, orange, or
kiwi from any of these samplings. And I'd also like to mention that all three samplings were the little sample bottles. They were not full bottles. They're not a 750 milliliter or a 375 milliliter. It shouldn't matter. It all comes from the same batches. However, the way they sit in the bottle with a little bit of air in there, you're going to get some subtle changes. However, they're poured into the same glass at approximately the same level, so then you have the same air interaction. But yeah, these are worlds apart. They're all very good in their own respect. Three very different tequilas, yet very similar. So I thank you for once again watching Scorpion Cigar Reviews. This has been a trilogy, the 3 Casamigo offerings. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.